am is happy to be alive. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with T, and I'm T. And you guys know that on Mondays, I have Man Convo Monday for my series Manhood 2, where I just bring a man on who is going to share his truth, whether it be through education, whether it be through life experience. He's just here to share with you so that we can learn from a male perspective what it is that we actually need to know about men. And I like to share this for the men, so the men can have a safe space to make other men feel safe to share and be vulnerable. But I love to share this for the women so that they can glean something from this and they can learn a man's truth. And this is not for you to listen to have an answer or a response. This is for us as women to listen and learn, because we love to listen and have a response. But I've learned so much from this series. And I'm excited today because I know this brother. He is my brother from another mother. We have a wonderful history. His wife and I are friends, and his children have been in my life. And I'm just proud of everything that he's doing. So I'm going to give y'all a little about him on his bio, even though I'm going to read the whole thing because I want to, but I know Rahiem personally. So Rahiem Jamal Allen was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, a teenage father, high school dropout, and chronic underachiever. Influenced and infected with the worst of living in an urban community, Rahiem began to indulge in a life leading towards destruction. The streets were seeking to destroy his life through sex, money, and crime. The savior seeking to save his life, Rahiem was led to the sanctuary at Cathedral International in Perth Amboy. Bishop Donald Hilliard Jr. is a major influence in his life and became a father figure. Rahiem Jamal Allen is the author of From the Streets to the Sanctuary and is CEO of Transform Your Life Enterprise with a Z. Transform Your Life Enterprise is a company that specializes in total transformation in areas of spiritual and business development. Minister Allen is happily married to Deja Allen and a proud parent of 4 children, Ashley, Davon, Olivia, and Avery. Ashley is a graduate at Bennett College, and Davon is a graduate of Shore University. His passion is to help young people understand that they have a purpose and must position themselves for their destiny. He encourages youth and adults to press past the pressure and passionately pursue their purpose. Welcome, Rahiem.
Amen, amen. Thank you for having me, my sister. It is a wonderful thing to see you. You are doing your thing. I just want to give you props that I give you in private. I want to give it to you in public. Listen, you are one of the women that I look up to in so many ways. Your consistency and your faithfulness to the cause of healing on all levels, through transparency, through really just showing us the real side of a woman that's for the men, even within our failures. Or our perceived failures, because it's not a failure, it's a learning experience. Everything
that's right. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. So, you know, I read your book From the Street to the Sanctuary, and we've had personal, private conversations, and your growth is amazing. And I want women to understand that men hurt too. Men are flawed. Yes. Men make mistakes, men bleed. And we got a lot going on with George Floyd and just how a Black man can't make a mistake, or a mistake to not put his blinker on without dying. But personally, it's the same thing for Black men when it comes in a lot of relationships. They can't make a mistake or not put their blinker on in life and not be crucified. So that's why we're here. So first, tell everybody, when I first interviewed my man, I love to hear a little background about your relationship with your parents, your mother and your father. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, growing up in Brick City, you know, it's not really abnormal to grow up in a single parent household. I grew up with my mother, you know, really didn't know my father at all. I think I remember seeing him when I was 5, and then again when I was 13 one time, and then when I was 23, we established a relationship. So my mother, she loved me with limitless love. I can honestly say she loved me to life, and she loved me to death almost. And I know sometimes that could be a contradiction, but it really was, because there was no discipline. There was no repercussion for my actions. All she did was love me, and she loved me. In turn, I felt like, you know, everybody was supposed to move with me in that regard. So in essence, she almost loved me to death, because in turn, instead of me working hard, instead of me doing what I needed to do to get what I needed to have and to be all that I needed to be, I felt like everything was supposed to be given to me. So I used what God gave me, you know, with mouth and a little bit of looks, and I used that to almost destroy me. My father, once we established a relationship, he introduced me to the spiritual realm of my life. So I give God praise for that as well. But I can honestly say, the 23 years of me not having him, it was definitely a gaping hole that is
Hmm.
still yet to be filled. You know,
Whoa.
and it is being filled. That's why I say my business is called Transform Your Life Enterprise, but I am totally transforming because that pain today is just as painful as it was when I was 12, just as
Wow.
painful as it was when I was 11. You know, book totally transparent. You know, something crazy happened to me when I was young, and I really, you know, attribute that to my father because I wouldn't have been by myself. So
Ooh.
I love my mother. My mother loved me without limits. And my father, he loves me without limits, but he's no longer here. So it's hard for me to really deal on a high level with him because he's not here with us. So it's a challenging situation, but I still give God praise that all things really do work together because I know my parents. So I am still learning to deal with the pain of not having my father.
Wow. 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 See, these are, and this is what I just want people to understand, that you're still dealing with the pain of your father not being in your life at this age now. Like
Big
this,
time.
and I know you're healing to some degree, but there are triggers and constant reminders that this person wasn't in your life. When things show up, like, oh, if my father would have been there,
Yes.
this wouldn't have happened. So you said you grew up in a house with a single mother. You know, I got to drink my coffee.
Yeah, that's good. That's you. That's your trademark.
Because I really be drinking my coffee
I
and as
love
soon
it.
as
I
I started,
love
I'm
it. I
like,
love
I'm
it.
just gonna talk in the morning while I drink my coffee, and I'm
I
just gonna
love it.
talk Periscope. So you
Yeah.
said you grew up in a single parent home with your mother.
Mm.
Do you feel there's a lot of pressure for Black boys in single parent homes with their mother and roles that they have to play?
Yeah, you know, it definitely is because not only did I grow up in a household with my mother, I grew up in a household with my sister. So I was the only male presence in the house. So
Wow.
basically, there was a lot of different things that I definitely had to assume the responsibility of. And, you know, I really took that role that I had to protect. My mother had to protect my sisters. And I was the youngest of the two, but I pulled weight, you know what I mean? So I wasn't scared of anything. So I felt like a brother was, you know, a little tricky. I would question him, like, what's your intentions? And my mother as well. I would ask men, like, what's your intentions with my mother and my sisters? So I definitely had to assume a role that I really wasn't built for. But it was something that I had to step in. I had to step up and do what I needed to do to make sure that they had some type of male representation.
Wow. And you talk about a situation in your book
Yeah.
that's very, like, I couldn't believe you shared it. And I know
Yeah.
that your publisher was saying, are you sure you want
Yeah.
to talk about that in the book?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you shared
Yeah.
this because you had a certain role in your house where you wanted to bring money in for your mom, just to help be a provider. So if you want to share that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, it was a situation. It was a one-time situation where it wasn't really trying to provide. It was like a situation where I was young, you know, playing baseball or whatever, and I put myself in a situation where I played baseball in another town, which was Irvington, and I lived in North, and I had to bus back home. My mother told me to make sure you catch the bus home before it gets dark out. So, you know, she worked in New York. So basically, I had to like not listen, and I actually put myself in harm's way. Where a gentleman, you know, not a gentleman, a man, a predator, you know, came up and asked me what was I doing out there, and then he like, you know, asked me did I want to get a ride home. So when he asked me did I want to get a ride home, I was like yes, because I wanted to try to beat my mother home. So then, as a result of me getting the ride home with this predator, you know, he asked me did I want $20 for him to fondle me. You know what I mean? I was like 11 years old. I didn't know what was going on. $20 to me was major. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we grew up, you know, we're getting 99 cents or something like that. So, just being totally transparent and real. I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So he like, you know, touched my genitals and I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really awoke doing that. So, you know, Tyler Perry said something in one of his interviews. He was like, his body betrayed him. So it was like, and touched me. I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Something inside of me was like, all right, you know what I mean? But then it triggers something. And then I think 2 years later or a year later, that's when I finally like had the real experience. But that one incident have turned out totally wrong because then I know I get $20. I hit him up again because he gave me his number, so I hit him up. And then this particular time went in the car and the cops came right behind us. You know what I
Wow.
mean? The cops came behind us. He actually like snatched me out one side, snatched him out the other side. And they checked him and all of that. He had a machete in his truck in his
Oh,
car. And who's to say I was a young guy? You know what I mean? Young and short. You know what I mean? Little. Because I mean now I'm not that tall now. So imagine at 11 years old. I was real little. You know what I'm saying? I was lighter. You know what I mean? So it
yeah.
was like a situation that could have went totally foul. You know what I mean? So that right there just set ablaze my life that I had to really start to deal with.
Wow, you said he had a machete in the car, so he might have been ready to about chop you up. Like your life might
Real,
have been saved in
real
that moment.
talk. Real
And
talk.
so
Real talk.
having that situation where a man fondled you, and we know like even with rape victims and people being molested, that your body, like you said, betrays you because
Yeah.
it's a bad thing, but it feels good and your
Yeah.
body reacts a certain way.
Exactly.
Not because you like it, but because our bodies naturally do something. Like if we even visualize, or if we even see something visually, our body will do something, and we'll be like, "Oh no, that's why did I feel like that when I'm watching this? This is crazy."
Real
So
talk.
did it? Did that situation make you feel like you had to prove your manhood? That you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely because, I mean back then I was like in what the early 80s. You know what I mean? So really all of that, like how it is now, like it wasn't even out like that. So that was mad farming. You know what I mean? So when you growing up and growing up in the hood, you definitely are overexposed to a lot of different things. So it definitely woke me up, but I give God praise that it didn't have me lean towards the other way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because and I also put in my book, which could have turned out to be major was that incident happened, but then my first attempt at sexual relations was a fail. You know what
Wow.
I mean? So when it was a meeting that like, had intimacy with this young lady, and I thought I was getting in, you know what I mean? I thought I was getting it in. So she told my friends, yeah, Rahiem thought he was doing something, but he was on my leg. You know what
Oh.
I mean? So that was my experience. So I'm like, hold up, man, this happened. And it was like almost like probably like a year apart or whatever, or a year apart. So I'm like, that happened. You know what I mean? Now this happened. So I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So then, now this may sound crazy, but I believe it to be so. The Bible says all things work together for the good because then a year after that, realness. And then I was like, okay, this is what it is. But it set ablaze because those two situations definitely put something inside me to say, you know what? You got to prove yourself, bro. You got to go get it in. And that's exactly what I did. I just went all out and went crazy,
So you
literally.
started being a womanizer, or
I just
just
started wilding big time.
right.
Whenever, whatever, I saw you, you looked at me, I looked at you. It was on. Crazy.
Right. Wow. And we want people to understand that different situations make you think differently. To have a man fondle you, or to have a woman go and tell your friends, he don't know what he doing sexually, will make you question your man. So I want women to understand that, because a lot of times we look at men, he a womanizer, he doing this, he did that, and whatever. We have to understand that there's some things that led up to these events that led up to these situations that made you go a certain way in your life to say, listen, I got to hit these women. I got to put these notches in my belt to make sure people understand that I am a manly man. I know what I'm doing. I am the man. So then you had a child
Yeah.
at a very young age.
Yes, very
And
young.
we know a lot of young black men have children at a young age in the hood, because I don't know if the parents are having a talk or not. I really don't believe it, because I never had to talk, because I'm from the hood. I'm from Essex County. And I say I'm from
Yeah.
Essex County because my mom was a Rolling Stone. Wherever she laid her hat was her home. So we lived in Irvington, East Orange, North, Bloomfield. I think we lived in every city in Essex County in the hood part.
Exactly. Exactly.
How did that change your life being a teenage parent?
Well, how it changed my life, it centered me big time because my oldest daughter, like when I first saw her, it was from a keeping it real. It was, I mean, it's out there now, but it was from a one night stand or whatever. And when I had her, well, when she was conceived, I didn't go with I didn't go through pregnancy with the woman. You know what I mean? Because it was like a one night stand. And then when I finally saw my daughter, she was 3 months old.
3?
3 months old. 3 months.
Oh, okay.
3 months old. So when I saw her, I was like, wow, this is my daughter. And I fell in love instantly.
Wow.
No blood test was needed. You know what I mean? I looked at her and I felt the connection. You know what I mean? And then in turn, like it just started like helping me to understand, like, okay, man, this is somebody's daughter. So it really started changing me, even at, believe it or not, at 15. But the change didn't fully come until I was 23. But it definitely impacted my life like nothing else in my life ever impacted me becoming a
Was the
blessing.
mother a teenager?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That was just
Yeah, she
your.
was a teenager too.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
you
so
was.
basically she was like, not glorifying it, but I was like the man in high school or whatever. So it was like,
Right.
to get with me, it was like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? And, you know, it was good for her, but it was like keeping it real back then, that was taboo because if you had a baby, the other girls would be scared that you're gonna get them pregnant.
Right.
Basically, it was
Uh, you froze
say it
for us.
again.
You froze
Say
for
it again. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I said it was like taboo. It was like taboo because now women were scared to, engage with me because they thought I would just get them pregnant. So it was like rough,
Wow.
so it was like really rough. So it was something that happened, but I had to give all my love to my daughter. You know what I mean? And it was a
Oh,
blessing.
that's right. So after having a child, and for the parents that are in the hood right now, because it hasn't really changed much since we've been growing up. Did your mom ever have to talk about sex protection? Because we don't know what we don't know, or we don't know what we haven't been taught. So having a baby at 15 in the hood is not foreign, or 13 for us, because the talks are not being had. Did your mother have a talk with you like,
No, she didn't. She didn't. And it was challenging because my sister had a baby when she was real young.
wow,
So it was like, so my sister had a baby when she was 13. You know what I mean?
wow,
So that was like, it was like not, so it never really was talked about. It was just something that just happened. My mother was just trying to survive. She was just trying to survive and trying to provide for us. You know what I mean? And
so she
just
was
love
at work.
us. Huh?
She was at work, like you
He was
said,
at work while we was wild.
right. You had to get home from the baseball game. You had to take the bus. And we talked about 11 years old. Like a lot of, listen, taking a bus by yourself at 11 years old is a lot for,
Yeah, it is.
like, even now, like my kids, like I was very overprotected, probably to the point, like you said, of loving my children almost to death because they had no survival skills. They got
uh,
entitlement. And that's on me to some degree. So we're shifting some things right now, but for your sister
amen.
to be, have to take care of you because she's the oldest. Your mom is at work over in New York. So
Yeah,
we just want to make sure young people who are listening understand that your mother did the best that she could, and none of
exactly.
it was a product of neglect. But in the
Exactly.
hood, we surviving. Mommy got to go to work, and y'all better figure it out. Because my mother
That's
had
so true.
5, and my oldest sister went through some stuff. And one day I'm gonna interview her, but it wasn't because my mother was neglectful and didn't love us. She
Hmm.
didn't have the resources that she needed or the support from a man. So she
Hmm.
had to do everything, and then we had to grow up really, really fast. And that's what I'm hearing
Exactly.
you say. So
Exactly.
I think you talked about in your book about hitting a woman.
Yeah.
I recall because I read the book some time ago.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, it was just like, lack of training, lack of understanding, following the culture. And as I said, it was I was affected and infected by what I seen. You know what I mean? I seen that if a woman get out of line, if you will, you just like get her back in line through physical, through by any means necessary. Me being a womanizer, and it's crazy because a lot of times, a lot of men that abuse women, they really love the women. They just are misguided. They hurting. You know what I mean? So they
Say that
express
again.
themselves.
Say that
I,
again, please.
I said men that abuse women or that misuse women, they're misguided and they're hurting. You know what I mean? So basically, instead of trying to get your point through words or through words, you kind of force them into, you know, getting in line, if you will. So when that unfortunate incident happened, you know, I really hit my son's mother, you know, and I mean she's forgiven me and I've forgiven myself, you know what I mean. After that incident, you know, my life totally transformed, and that's why there lies the meaning of my business, the life enterprise, because once that incident happened, the next day, literally the next day, like I had a starting five, and the starting five was if I had a woman that I need to talk to, I had her. If I had a woman that was crazy, sexy, and crazy sexual in bed, I had her. If I had a woman that had money, you know what I mean, I had her. You know what I mean? I had all different type of women that I could put my hands on at that right exact time. Then I had my main girl, which was my son's mother, who I was like, hey, this is my main piece, this is my stability. So I had like literally at all times I had like a starting five. That's
Whoa.
that's what a lot of brothers say. They say, yo, you have to have a starting five so you don't put the pressure on your main girl. You know what I mean? So that's how I was moving. That's how a lot of us brothers. I mean, I know I'm cracking the code, but that's
You
how men,
crack the code, because I'm
that's how men was getting down. You know what I mean? So when I hit her, you know what I mean. The next day, I called my mother and said, "Mom, can you take me to church?" You know what I mean. I went to church. That was it. Literally, I went to church
wow.
that one day, and God said, "Hold up, I got this terrorist," because that's exactly what I was. I was terrorizing a lot of women's hearts, big time. You know what I mean? Like I never
Wow.
forget. It was one time this girl asked me, well, she wanted me to go to the prom with her. I knew I couldn't go to the prom with her because I was with somebody, but then she asked me to go to the after prom trip. So all the while before the prom, she was a real good woman. You know what I mean? All before the prom, I was trying to go in, trying to get it in, trying to get it in, allow me to get it in. But then we dated for probably like around. She ain't know nothing about my girl or whatever. So then she finally said, "Okay, prom night. I'm gonna let him. You know, we gonna do something." We went down to Wildwood, but there was another young woman who I was big on. I was crazy big on this. She went down there too. So me and her went down there together, but she was down there by herself. I'm
Oh,
like, man, down here by herself. So then the girl went somewhere to the store or something. And the girl, then I knew where the girl was. I knocked on the door, went in, and you know, I just kissed her, like kissed the girl I was big on. So then, but me and the other girl, as soon as we got there, we got it in. You know what I mean?
wow.
And then when she came back, all of them girls were talking. They was like, "Yo, Rahiem," like she didn't know I came down here with the other girl. She thought I was down there by myself too. But I told her that. But they started talking, and then she told the girl, she said, "Yeah, oh my God, me and Rahiem just kissed." And the girl that I was down here with came to me and she was like, "Rahiem, why'd you do that?" You know what I mean? I saw all the air come out her body. She broke, like literally in front of me, because she said, "All I gave you was me. That's
Oh,
all I had. That's all I had. And why did you do that? I told you I'm not like that." And when I say even back then, I was like 18. My heart broke for her and it broke for me. And I was like, "Oh, I can't believe it." You know what I mean? So even today, talking about it, I'm hurt. I'm hurt by it because I got two daughters. You know what I mean?
right.
I got three daughters, and I would feel unbelievably crazy that I wound her, like like made her feel as though that she was worth it, and I
Oh,
took it and then I abused her and messed her up. So I was a straight terrorist, and I give God praise for the change. So that one hit, when I hit my son's mother, it really helped me to begin the healing process as it pertains to the hurt that I was causing and the hurt that I caused myself. You know what I mean?
right.
That was a valuable relationship that was lost.
Wow. Listen,
It's crazy.
it's amazing to hear this because, and I want the men that are listening who are in relationships, right? Because women are struggling in relationships because men are not transparent with the woman that they're with. Because and a brother told me this, and I never forgot this. I said, why are you so transparent with me? Like I have conversations with men, they just share with me like stuff, and I'm just like, oh wow, like thank you so much, because I'm trying to learn for myself as well. And he said, because women that you're in a relationship with ask for the truth. They say, give me the truth, I can handle the truth. And then when you give them the truth, there's consequences to your actions for telling the truth. So they punish you for your truth, whether it be, even if it's something little, whether it be they don't sleep with you that night, even wives, or they don't cook, or they walking around with an attitude. So he's like, you asked me to tell you the truth. So he said, when I speak to you, Trey, I could be honest with you, and I could be honest with the brothers in the barbershop, because there's no consequences to my truth.
Exactly.
So I can share. So I want the women to understand, if you want to know why your relationship might be areas where there's no, you can't talk or whatever, it's because there's some deep down damage that's been done, and a man feels like if he's vulnerable and shares his truth, it's going to backfire on him.
Exactly.
So I know you have your daughter who graduated from college and your son who graduated, so you have adult children and then you have little ones.
Yes.
How different is the parenting with now that you're an experienced father as opposed to a teen father?
I mean, when I say I pay close attention, I pay close attention. Back then I wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? I was there. I was always there for all my children. But I was out there. I was multitasking, if you will, on a negative perspective. So I was out there wilding, but I was taking care of my kids. So now when I have my daughters, it's like, you know, I want to build myself, and I am building myself up to the point where I have the liberty to know where they are at all times, because life is going to happen and it's going to happen. But I'm just trying to lessen the blow of life. You know what I mean? That's why I'm always right there paying close attention. My oldest daughter, me and her are like best friends, you know, and she even talked and she said, Dad, I'm so happy to see how you are with Olivia and Avery. You know what I mean? Because even though I was there for them, they struggled with me because we were all young.
Right.
I had my son right after I had my daughter. So we grew up together. So they sort of struggled firsthand.
Wow.
You know, so now it's like to be able to see them every single day. I never lived, well, I lived with my son for like a small period of time.
Right.
But I've been living with Olivia for 6 years. You know what I mean? I've been living with Olivia for 3 years. So it's like to have that, it's nothing like it. So in essence, that's the glue that, like, you know, help us to be able to maintain when you're going through the struggles of marriage. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's something that we definitely can't use that as the end all, but it definitely is the glue. And me leaving out the home is very unlikely that I will leave out the home.
Right.
I want my kids to have to deal with none of that. So it's totally different.
Wow. This is so good. So you went from the streets to the sanctuary.
Yeah.
I mean, and people need to understand, why did you feel like you really needed to, even now, because you know there's temptation in the streets.
Big time.
Like,
big time.
This world is just tempting, like from sugar to sex.
Big time.
I'm a sugaraholic, so I gotta
big
really
time. That's good. Yeah.
Some come on TV in the middle of the night. When the supermarket was open, I get up and go. Like,
yeah. Hey Trey, that's a good.
You know?
Hey, listen, that's a good book, Sugar to Sex. Oh my God. Temptation is real. You should write that. You should write that. You should write that.
That's on me. I got a lot going on.
Hey, listen, that's good.
The temptations that are around us as a Black man, and what society thinks of Black men, like, y'all are not loyal, y'all are not faithful, y'all don't have longevity, y'all can't focus. Like, it's a lot. What keeps you grounded? And listen, we all gonna fall short of the mark. Trust me, I have to pull myself in every day. Like, you said that or you thought that. What keeps you grounded when these things start to consume you? Because life is consuming.
See, the interesting part, as we talk offline, you know what I mean? Those of you who are going to listen to my other social media, you know what I mean? I had to like, you know, wipe all that out. It's not saying that I, like, you know, am perfect, because I'm not. You know what I mean? I am transforming. You know what I mean? I would never give up on transforming, but the temptation is real. You know what I mean? And when you get a perfect storm, if you will, anything can happen. You know what I mean? So basically what was going on back I mean, the temptation that really came in and it got me was a situation where somebody was trying to get at me hard on the internet. You know what I mean? They was coming for me like for months. They was just talking like in a little thing. So I would just ignore them, ignore them, ignore them. So then situation like, you know, going through the pain and the process of marriage, you know what I mean? I gave in and I said, they said, how are you one morning back in October? And it was, and I said, finding you. That was the worst finding you I ever said in my life.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was like when I said finding you, I gave into the temptation. You know what I mean? So when I
Yeah.
gave into the temptation, they started like um, keeping it real, giving me accolades. Like, oh my God, your page is so intriguing. You're so handsome. You know what I mean? And I've been 23 years in righteous, living a righteous life. You know what I mean? Literally not perfect. I've been righteous. I never fell for nothing like that. So to make a
Right.
long story short, you know what I mean? They wooed me. And this happened in a matter, when I say it was the first time it happened in a matter of seconds, literally minutes. So they started like, you know, once I said finding you, they came in with the juggler. They must have felt the blood or whatever. Make a long story short, you know, they started giving me compliments and so on and so forth. And then they shot a picture. You know what I mean? Men are very visual. You know what I mean? So when she shot the picture, I was like, whoa, what girl? You know what I mean? So then I'm like, whoa, she just gave me these compliments. I'm going through at home. My mother just had a heart attack. I'm going through financially. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through. So it was like a perfect storm. So I gave
Right.
in. You know what I'm saying? So I shot a picture back. The second I shot a picture back, she was, whoever it was like, listen. They showed me a picture of all my Instagram friends. And they was like, listen, if you don't give me A, B, C, and X, Y, Z, you know what I mean? They asked for mad money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whoa. And my Instagram was popping. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been on your platform. I've been on Jamal Bryant's platform. I speak at churches. I'm like, oh, but the thing that drove me, it's not excusable, but the thing that drove me to shoot a picture back was the pain. You know what I mean? Keeping it real. Shameless plug, but I needed healing. You know what I mean? And it was something that, like, you know, the pain drove me to do that. You know what I mean? And I just was like, the room started spinning. The room started spinning. And if I literally had a knife or something, I think I would have offed myself. That's the adrenaline. That's how it was feeling. And but then I braced myself, caught myself, told my wife what happened immediately, called my
Right.
psychotherapist, you know what I mean, and started the process of getting it right. Keeping it real, pulled out your book. I'm not just saying that because
Right.
we're on this live, but I pulled out the book and I was like, all right, I gotta get this right. So then then I told my son and my daughter because we're cool like that. And I was supposed to go somewhere and I didn't know how bad it was going to hit. So I didn't want to go down there and it would have hit because the person was trying to say that they was going to send it out to all my people. You know what
Wow.
I mean? So I was just like, yo, da 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 da. So then, you know, it was just crazy. And I literally almost died in October, literally.
Wow.
So talking about Manhood too, yeah, I was in unbelievable pain. You know,
Wow. I
but
just got to thank you so much for being transparent, and because this is
yeah,
what we need.
big time.
Because these are the things that are going on in this world. Like, people are vicious.
Yes.
Only, even if it didn't go to that degree of I just want money from you, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
blow you up. There are a lot of there are a lot of women, and I want the women. This is why I have my movement hashtag no side chicking, where
Uh,
I encourage women to honor God and respect each other's relationships. Because I hear from so many men that women are in their inbox and they're on Instagram,
good
social media,
talk.
with their families.
You see my Instagram.
Yeah, and you still in somebody's inbox as a woman, and you know this man has a wife and children. And there's a lot of this going on, and that's why I do this for the men, and that's why I do hashtag no side chicken in this healing time for the women,
Amen.
because his wives, girlfriends, fiancés have to realize that it's not only the men. So I hold women accountable for their part in the destruction of families and their part of infidelity, the side chick, the wife. You know what I'm saying? So just for you sharing that story in this transparent moment, I just want men to understand that there is somebody to talk to. And when you're going through, you got to go find that person, because there's a lot of vicious people out here that want to destroy lives. And listen, you know me, I love the Lord. The enemy out here, the enemy is real.
Yo,
We're
listen.
not fighting against flesh and blood. The enemy is real. They will send the eye candy. They will
My
send
God.
exactly what it is that makes you thrive, whether it's money, whether it's sex, whether it's sugar, whatever it is to destroy your body, your health, your mental, your physical, your family. So thank you for sharing that story. What did you learn from that?
What I learned from that is I really had to get the healing that I needed, because a lot of times I was just like, running on fumes and running on my past accolades. You know what I'm saying? I'm an author. You know what I mean? I'm somebody that's respected. You know what I mean? People look at my Instagram and they see the best part of me. You know what I mean? But if I were to stand up, you would see the sugar. You know what I mean? In my belly. You know what I mean? Like you would see certain things. So I realized that, you know what, I can't put on the fakeness of social media. I really got to make sure that I get the healing that I need. So now, and even before this, that's why my wife is so gracious, and I give God praise for her. But I was telling her I was in trouble before that even happened. You know what I
Wow.
mean? I felt it. Like I felt that I was in trouble because a lot of times I was able to be insulated from the temptation. But this particular time, everything was hitting me. You know what I mean? And it was hitting me, but I was feeling it. So I just was like, you know what? I cannot give in. You know what I mean? So I've been getting on this prayer call every single day
Mm.
called Winning Prayer. You know what I mean? And it's just been blessing big time. And it's been helping me to go after the healing that I needed,
Wow.
because I was walking around, I was in mega pain.
Wow.
And also in your book, you said people are screaming, but they're screaming with their mouth closed. And
Right.
people look, you see the frames, they see the logo, they see the book. You know what I mean? They see my family, because my family is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of my family. You know what I mean? Like they looking at, they look like, oh my God, why I got it going on? But keeping it real, I was in crazy pain, walking around mega depressed. You know what I mean? Not even knowing like which way to roll, because I know how to roll naturally, but sometimes when life goes a different way that you don't expect it to go, the pain that you feel is unreal. So
Wow.
that told me is that, listen, get the help. I mean, and not to go back into that story, but I went to the police station and I, did a report to make
Right.
sure that they didn't try to come back and say anything edgewise, because what they were saying is something crazy. I showed them the whole conversation,
Right.
and he said, "You did a good job." Because I know it was embarrassing, but they carry this card around with you, so that if they were to say anything offset, you can show them this card that you filed a police report. So
Right.
basically, I knew I had to make the necessary natural precautions, and now that's why I deleted Instagram. I deleted my other Facebook. I told my wife, and now I'm in the process of healing, and I'm still healing. You know what
Wow.
I mean? Because that was a major impact. That's what it taught me, to get your healing. That's why when you called me, and that's why I was listening to your In Hurt Too,
Yeah.
listening to Do It All, you know what I mean, which was
Yeah.
awesome. Listening to the brother last week, which was awesome. Burgess, which was awesome. Listening to them brothers talking like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm not the only one. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it taught me that, listen, you can get healing, just go get it. It's not gonna be given to you. You gotta
Right.
get it.
Wow. Wow. That
Yeah.
listen, these just I love these are like candid conversations of
That's
real
it.
time what's going on with men. And like I said, there was a point in my life where I was screaming inside my head. Like the words I was everybody looked like you said, it looked so Trey, look at she cute, she this, she that, she got it going on. When I was screaming inside of my head, and there's so many black men who are imploding.
Big
You
time.
know what I'm saying? It's imploding when your insides are exploding and nobody knows, and you're walking around with a smile on your face because that is what is required of you. That is
Yes.
what you are. That is what is immediately put on your back when the doctor says it's a boy. You're immediately a male instead of a human being, and that's why I wanted to do this to
I
make
love
sure
it.
that people understand that men are human beings first. And then we're out of our time. I'm supposed to
Okay.
be 9:30, but we go over a little bit if it's okay with you, because I really
Okay.
want to just talk a little bit about the George Floyd thing and just how are you feeling?
Big
Because I
time.
need us to ask the men in our lives, the brothers, with this going on, to see a black man murdered on the ground, and that could be you. Like, how are you feeling? How are you processing this? And are you okay?
I mean, oh God, no. I mean, I ain't gonna even front. That hit. That hurt. I don't know them, man.
Oh, I lost you.
No, it's just crazy because
Yeah.
that hurt.
Right.
That hurt like crazy. Like, he called his mama.
Right.
You know? He ain't called his father. He ain't called nobody else. He called his mother.
Oh,
So for him to call his mother, it was crazy. Excuse me, this is crazy though.
it's okay.
Like I don't know the dude, but I was telling my wife that it hurt a little different than the other ones,
Right.
as he called his mother. And,
Yeah.
and I know that if I, do something or get in trouble, I'm not gonna call my father. I'm gonna call my mother. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So it was like, it was a saying that said that when he called his mother, all the mothers stood up. You
yeah.
know, all the mothers heard that cry. So it was like to feel that it was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like I told my wife, it was painful to see
Right.
that. And this
How
was
do
the
you feel when you go out? Like we've been dealing with this for a long time. I'm sorry I know that makes men emotional to see a black man killed on the ground and calling to his mom because they say it daddy's girls and mama's boys. So how do you process going outside every day and driving and just living as a black man? Because we don't know. And I mean they killing black women too.
yeah, big time.
Black men have been being assassinated and murdered and hung for years and put against each other to fight slavery days, to kill each other as a sport. How does it feel to go outside now and just, because now it's like for the racist people, y'all still the problem because now y'all making
Yeah,
noise. And for
big
the
time.
people who support y'all, it's like, yo, I didn't know. Like, are you afraid of the cops? Like when you drive, are you, because we got PTSD as black people,
Yeah,
post-traumatic
big
stress
time.
disorder.
Big
And
time.
how do you feel when you're driving or in a store? Like,
It's crazy. It's crazy because in my field of work, I got to go in people's houses. So even before this happened, I went into somebody's house in a real affluent area in Pennsylvania. And when I drove through, you know what I mean? This is not political, but when I drove through, I saw Confederate flags and I saw Trump everywhere. So when I went into this lady's house, I started taking the necessary pictures I needed to take. So I went in because basically working in insurance, you gotta take other pictures. So make a long story short, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I gotta take these pictures for the insurance company." So then she said, "What are you gonna do? Show them to your cousin?" So she said that to me. So I'm like, this is my job. So I was like, so it just hurt so bad because I couldn't say anything. So I called my wife and I was real in pain. So when
right,
this happened, so now it's like, and then when I left her house, somebody stuck their middle finger up at me.
wow,
So it was crazy. So when this happened, I guess it was like, wow, this is really real. Because growing up in the inner city, you're around African Americans. Ain't nobody gonna do that
right,
in the hood. Nobody gonna say nothing in the hood. They know that you would probably rock them. You know what I
right.
mean? So the blatant racism just really touched me hardcore. So to see that, I'm like, wow. And even when I get stopped, when I got stopped one time, this guy stopped me and I was arguing with him. My wife was telling me, stop, stop, stop.
Right.
Because I'm like, man, I'm getting, why they stop me? They ain't stop me for no reason at all. You know what I mean? So it's real painful big time. Cause I experienced that. I didn't,
And
I didn't experience the physical violence, but I experienced getting stopped for no reason at all.
right. And then and for your wife and for us to be in a car with a black man, we like don't say nothing, don't do nothing. And it's like so degrading for a black man to not be able to say, what are you stopping me for? And then when a
Exactly.
person is smart with you, you got to sit there and it's not be like a punk.
Yeah, you do.
And your
Yeah.
wife is telling you, don't say nothing, please don't say nothing, be quiet. And it's like, what? And then we see white people spitting on cops, telling cops off, yelling and screaming and getting out the car.
With AK-47s on their back.
Right. But you got to sit there like you can't defend you. You can't even defend your wife if they decide they want to drag her out the car. Like, it's just crazy. And I just, for every black man, I'm just praying for y'all. And I'm the mother of 3 black sons. I'm a boy mom. And
Big
it's
time.
really hard. And we were having a conversation with mothers of black sons, me and 3 other young ladies on a platform. And we were just talking about one of the moms, she has a 2-year-old son now. And she said,
Wow.
there's a level of guilt because I don't even really like want to be in this world. Like, why we got to feel like that? So you are my brother from another mother, and I'm so glad
Yes.
you came on here and your
Yeah.
vulnerability and your
Yeah, I appreciate you.
transparency. is much needed, and don't stop. Like,
and I appreciate you.
We all gonna make mistakes. This is
Yes,
not the end for us. Like, people,
exactly.
all this churchy. We are Christians, but if we
Yes,
never made a mistake, Rahiem, why would we need Jesus?
I know. Trust
Like,
me. Hey,
even
listen. Hey, listen. And that's the other part. When I say that made my relationship with Christ so much stronger with that situation, it did. Trust me.
yes, we
All
run to
things really
Christ.
do work together because I had to run to him. I could have went the other way, but I give God praise for Christ. You know what I mean? I give God praise for you. You know what I mean? Literally, I mean that. I mean that because you have always been a consistent voice, even when you're not around. You used to live upstairs from me, but now you're not there.
Yeah.
But
I
just
miss
on
y'all too.
social media, and I
I miss
see you.
them.
You know what I mean? So it's a blessing, and I give God praise for your movement. And I just want you to continue to do what God is doing because this right here is definitely therapeutic.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that. Listen, I always ask God, what you want me to do? And he always tells me, if you touch one person, you did what I called you to
Oh
do.
my
It ain't
God, I'm
about the
one.
numbers.
I'm
Yeah.
one.
He's like, it ain't about the numbers. It ain't about the popularity. If you could help people just to heal, then you did what I called you to do. Now I want you to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can get your books and your posts.
Okay. Okay. You can find me at my website, lifetransform.info. Basically I'm about to launch. That's why I have my little shameless plug up there, Life Radio.
Oh,
Um,
please.
we're going to discuss life, speak life, and give life. That's something I'm definitely going to launch. I'm in the process of getting all the materials and everything together for that. You can reach me on my Instagram, Jamal Rahiem, and I have another Instagram, FS2TS. That's from the streets to the sanctuary.
Wow.
Definitely, you can reach me there, and on Facebook as well, from streets to sanctuary at gmail.com.
Oh, thank you so much, Rahiem. Like, if you just
Amen.
you tuned into hashtag Coffee with T, and I'm T. This is our Man Convo Monday from my series Men Hurt Too, where we give men a platform to just share and be transparent and stop imploding so they don't explode on the world, to just to be able to release, because it's so much to be like a pressure cooker and nobody understands. So I love Black men. I'm
Amen.
an advocate for Black men. Ain't
Amen.
nobody's gonna talk bad about a Black man to me. I don't care if he's in the jail. I don't care if he's in jail. I don't care if he's in the streets. I don't care if he's a pastor. I don't care if he's a CEO. I don't care if he's lost. You're not gonna talk bad about a Black man to me, because in every person, including Black men, there is good. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes, like you said, they've just lost their way, or they've never been taught the right way. So we got to
Yeah.
platforms, we got to have these conversations. So any brother out there that's trying to transform your life, please reach out to Rahiem, please, or reach out to me,
Yes.
because you don't have to do this alone, and nobody
Amen.
can tell you to do this alone. Don't let people put you in that pressure cooker while you're imploding and dying on the inside, when we have
My God.
resources for you. And there's a Dear Black Man, We Love You Facebook group that's coming out now, that my mentor, Dr. V.C. Marshall, started, just so we
Man.
have a safe place with content, and just to be able to say, I'm somewhere where I'm loved, because the
Amen.
world don't love Black men, including
Amen.
Black people. And that's the sad part about it. So this is why I do this, so I could teach my sisters,
I
Black,
appreciate you.
and we got to learn how to love them in order for them to heal. And I'm so glad that the situation that just happened to you recently made you realize what I learned from this, and what I'm learning, that all Black men are learning from these platforms and talking, is that I really need to heal.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yes, it
So
is.
thank y'all for tuning in to hashtag Coffee with T. I'm T. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to have these conversations. On Mondays, I have Man Convo Monday. On Wednesdays, I have Wonder Woman Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we're going to have
Oh,
the Garfield on. And on Fridays, I just do Freestyle Friday. We can talk about whatever we need to talk about, just to
amen.
lighten the mood. So I'll see y'all on Wednesday with Davita Garfield. Tune in, please. And remember what I tell you at the end of all my broadcasts: you deserve the best. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve the best. Now go get it. Peace and blessings. And remember
Amen.
Psalm 147:3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Again, thank you, Rahiem J. Allen. I love you. I
Love
wish
you more.
you the best. And if you ever need me, you got my number. You know I'm here.
Exactly. Okay, I will. I
Okay,
love
love
you
you.
more.
Babies a
Take
hug
care.
for me, okay?
I shall. I shall. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.